Social media screening for US visa applications is real, it's happening. And in this video, we're going to discuss how exactly to fill your DS160 form so that you declare your social media handles for the US visa application. And also, we're going to discuss what are the things you need to keep in mind when you give out this information to the visa officer. Let's get started. Hi guys, my name is Shachi. I'm a US visa coach, and on this channel, you'll find tons of useful videos on the US visa process. Whether you're applying for a student, a B1, B2, or a work visa, we have separate playlists for all the categories, so make sure to check it out. In the description box below, you will also find links of how you can work one-to-one with me, and we can help you with the DS160 application as well as the interview prep. So do check out those links as well. Now, a few weeks back, the US Secretary of State issued a statement which spoke about social media screening for the student visas, and in fact the entire student visa process was also put on hold because they wanted to figure out a new system for social media screening. Now, while this announcement was specifically for student visas, in the last 2 weeks we observed that social media screening and checking is happening even for other visa categories as well. And in fact, officers are looking quite closely at the social media handles that have been declared in the DS160 form and asking questions around it. So this video is for everybody, whether you are applying for a student or not. When you are filling your DS160 application, you need to make sure that you are declaring the social media information correctly, and that's exactly what we're going to discuss. Let's get started. So let's start by understanding what exactly is social media screening and when did it begin. So social media screening has been part of the US visa application for quite some time now. In fact, it was started in 2018 during the previous tenure of the Trump administration, and in 2018 the DS160 form was modified to include 2 additional questions regarding social media profiles. Now, though it has been in place from the last 5 years, it was never emphasized too much, never spoken about much, and also in the visa interviews, we didn't really see officers bothering too much about the social media profile. It is only now in 2025 that social media screening, social media profiles have gained so much traction, and we actually see that officers are looking at it and asking questions around it in the visa interview. So given the current trend and the emphasis on social media profile, I think it's really important that you declare your social media handles accurately and correctly in the DS160 form. And this is exactly what we're going to deep dive in this video. So when you fill the DS160 form, under the personal information section, you will see 2 questions related to social media. First one asks you that have you used any social media profiles or have you used any social media platform? And the second one asks you, have you used any other social media platform in the last 5 years? We're going to deep dive into these 2 questions and show you exactly how to fill the DS160 form. Before we go ahead, if you're still here, still watching this video, do give it a like and a thumbs up and keep on watching. So the first question asked in DS160 form is, do you have social media presence? And this in fact is a yes or a no question. If you select no, the form simply moves ahead to the next question. But when you select yes, you get a drop-down box, and in this drop-down box, you will see that all the common or the most used social media platforms are already listed. So you'll be able to see Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, and few more. And the form allows you to select the social media platform that you want to declare and then give you another box called the identifier, wherein you need to put specific information about your profile on those social media platforms. Now, filling in this identifier is where we see the most errors, the most mistakes that are done when somebody fills the DS160 form. So here's a quick do and don't for you for filling in the identifier. What you should not do here is to put your Gmail ID, put your password, or just put your name as it is. All of these are not identifiers, and it will not help the officer to find you on these social media platforms. What you need to do here is to declare your handle name. Handle name is your profile, unique to your profile. It will help the officer to find you. And you could also declare the URL of your profile, which will enable the officer to just click on that link and go to your social media profile. Now, I'm quickly going to go take you inside the DS160 form and show you how exactly to find your handle name and your URL.
So I'm going to take an example of a social media account and show you how exactly to enter the details for the DS160 form. So here is my own Instagram account, and basically you go to the profile section. When you click on the profile, you will see the link right on the top. Now this is your profile URL, and this is something that you can enter directly in the DS160 form. So I could just copy this URL, and if I just open it in another page, you will see that I have the entire link that is generated. Now I can just copy this link and paste the entire URL in the DS160 form. And this way, when the officer clicks, he will be directed to my page on Instagram itself. So this is something that you could do. This is one way wherein as the identifier you enter the URL. The second way you could do it is to just enter the handle name. So in this link itself, if you see the last part, shachi.mall, this is my identifier. This is my unique handle basically. So I could just copy this part and in the social media identifier enter this. So I declare Instagram, and within Instagram I declare at shachi.mall. So this way they can search by just the handle name and still find my profile on Instagram. And this is something that you can follow for all social media accounts. So for Facebook, for YouTube, similarly, you can go to your profile section and find your link, and from there enter either the URL or the handle name. The only platform that you need to be careful when entering URL is LinkedIn. So for LinkedIn, we see that when you enter the URL, the link doesn't work. So in case you're updating LinkedIn, just mention your handle name and avoid giving the URL. Now, when you declare these social media accounts, it's also necessary that you make them public, because if you keep it as private, the officer is not really able to see what your account is about and doesn't really serve the purpose. So you have to make sure that all your accounts are public as well. And for that, I'll just show you an example. So on Instagram, under my profile section, if I just click on more and I click on settings, then there is an option which talks about my account privacy. I think it's this one. Yep. So account privacy, and it basically controls who can see your content, who can see your account. Now here, many of you might have a private account, but unfortunately for the sake of social media screening, it has to be public. So you'll have to toggle this to public and make sure that your account is visible. So this is exactly how you need to enter in your DS160 form. If you have any other questions about entering the handle name, do put it in the comment section below. So let me know which social media platform you're facing the challenge with, and let me know your question.
Once you're done adding this for one social media platform, you need to repeat it for all the other social media platforms that you're present on. So let's say that I started with Facebook first, but if I'm also there on Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, then I can click on the plus sign here and keep adding the other social media platforms. So in this way, you are expected to declare all the social media platforms that you're active on and provide that identifier or that URL, which will enable the officer to actually go to your profile and to view your profile. Now, once you're done with this question, you get another question in the DS160 form, and this I feel is a slightly tricky one. So this question says, do you have any other social media presence in the last 5 years? So what they mean by this is that, let's say that you are using a social media platform which was not mentioned in the drop-down list. So in the previous question, you had a drop-down list, and let's say that you are on a social media platform which is not present in that drop-down list. Then they expect you to declare that here in this question, and they are specifically looking at a timeline of last 5 years. So in the last 5 years, if you have used any other social media platforms, then you are expected to declare that here and again give the identifier or the handle name. Now, keep in mind that when it comes to the additional social media profile, all of this is again related to you. It is not related to a company or an organization. So let's say that you posted content, but it was not for yourself. It was for a company or it was for an organization. That doesn't count here. You do not have to mention a company or an organization accounts here. But let's say that it is your own portfolio or your own work which you have published on another platform, then yes, that counts and that should be declared here. So essentially, the simple rule of thumb is that even when you declare additional social media profiles, declare things which are specific to you and which relate to the content posted by you for your own profile. If it was content posted for a company or an organization and generally managing the social media accounts for somebody else, that need not be declared here. Another common mistake that we see here is that many times people declare their WhatsApp, Telegram, and even Gmail accounts. Well, WhatsApp and Telegram do not count under social media. They are classified as a one-to-one private communication channel. So you do not have to declare your WhatsApp, your Telegram here. And in fact, when it comes to Gmail IDs, it is already asked in the previous question in the DS160 form when they're asking you for the email IDs. So any Gmails or any email IDs you need to declare, you can put it in the previous question. Now that you've declared your social media profiles, the next question is, what exactly do I put in these social media handles, and what is it that the officer is really looking for? Well, honestly, there's no clear information yet on what exactly they're screening for, but the general guideline or the general information that is being put out is that they are screening for any threat to national security, which means that any threat to US security in terms of terrorism, any association with groups, or any other agenda or activities that a person might have been involved with. Now, having said this, and really looking at the interview experiences which happened recently, I feel that there are three topics, or rather three domains, that you should completely avoid in your social media handles, and I'm going to explain this to you. The first is politics. Avoid posting or reposting, liking, sharing any content which has to do with politics. It could be politics of your own city, it could be state, it could be your own country, it could also be of other countries other than US. So any content which could be aligned with any political information or political motivation, I think should be completely avoided just to stay safe. The second domain, and I think this is an obvious one to stay clear of, is any information, any opinion, any articles, anything about Trump. So avoid sharing, posting, resharing, liking anything related to Trump administration, be it the visa changes, be it the rules, the regulations, or just your general opinion on what's happening in the world. And the third part, and I think this is a bit tricky, is that when you declare your social media information, you should make sure that it is aligning with the rest of your profile that you're showing to the officer in the DS160 form. So the social media profile should not present any information which is contradicting or which is going against what you have declared in the rest of your DS160 form. For example, let's say that you have mentioned yourself as a student studying in a particular city or a state in the DS160 form for a certain period of time. And if your social media handle shows contradictory information, shows that you were somewhere else, you were employed somewhere else, or you were working somewhere else, or you were studying somewhere else, then those type of contradictions could be easily caught. Also, another example, I think very simple, is marital status. If you're going to say that you're single, your social media profiles and handles should also give the same impression. So I think these are the three things: political content, content related to Trump, and making sure that what you are saying to the officer and declaring the rest of the DS160 form is truly reflected in your social media profile. And overall, I think the general agenda should be to keep your social media handles really clean, really bland, really free of anything that would probe unnecessary questioning or unnecessary interest. The next part of the video, I'm going to take up some FAQs. We've been getting a lot of questions about social media screening, and I'm addressing them right here. The most common question we've got is, what do I do if I do not have any social media presence? So a lot of you reached out to us saying that I genuinely do not have any social media presence. What do I do? Well, the first thing to keep in mind is that they are asking for social media presence in the last 5 years. So if you do not have any social media presence right now, but you did have in the last 5 years, you will still need to declare in the DS160 form. Now, let's say that you do not have any social media presence even in the last 5 years, then I would say that you have to take a call on this question based on your profile, your age, and what was the purpose for which you're applying to the US. So let's say that you're an elderly person, you're about 65, 70 years of age, and you're just applying for tourism or visiting your family in the US. In such a situation, if you genuinely do not have any social media presence, then it would be okay to declare as no, and I don't think the officer will bother too much about this. On the other hand, if you're a young working professional or you're a student or you seem to have good travel history, you seem to have done a lot of things in your life, and if you say you do not have any social media presence at all, I feel that might look a little suspicious and maybe they don't believe you. So in such a case, I would say the safest thing today is to create a LinkedIn account, a LinkedIn profile, and put in all your education and personal achievements and put in all your education and work information there. Make sure that it aligns with the DS160 form and just declare that LinkedIn handle in your account. You can keep it super clean, super simple, and rather than saying I don't have any social media presence at all, it would be good to declare at least one LinkedIn so that the officer doesn't probe or think too much about your social media presence. The next common question we've got is that what are the accounts do I need to declare? Do I need to declare only one or two accounts or all of them? Well, there is no clear-cut guideline, but from whatever we are reading and sensing, it feels like you need to declare all the social media accounts that you are using. So whether you actively post on them, use them, or don't use them, doesn't matter. If you have created a social media profile, you would be required to declare all of those accounts right here in this question, right here in the DS160 form. What FAQ we've got is, what do I do if I had a social media profile, but I currently deactivated it, or I have blocked it, or deleted it? Now, I would say that for this question, look at the timeline. If it is within the 5 year timeline, I would suggest you still declare it. And maybe you don't have to declare it in the main question, but in the second question, when they ask for additional social media profile, there probably you could put these accounts. But if it is beyond the 5-year timeline, then, and if the account is deactivated or blocked, then I would say you don't need to bother about it and you can ignore it. Question, and this is also asked very, very commonly, is can I just delete my social media handles and not declare it? I would say that avoid doing that. Any sudden deletion or any sudden removal of social media profiles again can be suspicious. And even if you were to delete your account today, it might still throw up in a random Google search. So instead of deleting the account, I would say that do a cleanup of the account, go through the account, make sure that all the points that we discussed previously about any political, Trump related, or any other contradictory information is not there in your account, and then still mention it in the DS164. So this is all the information you need to know about social media profiling for your US visa application. Of course, this is a topic which is, I would say, still new, still unclear. And as and when we get more information and more details about it, we're going to be sharing with you right here on this channel. So make sure that you subscribe and stay tuned. If you have any other questions about social media screening, feel free to put it in the comment section below. We also have more useful content coming up for student visas as well as for other visa categories. So stay tuned and don't forget to check out all the links in the description box to help you in your US visa preparation. Signing off for now. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.